Atomic Habits. Chapter 3. The Man Who Couldn't Remember, and the Loop That Controls Everything. Right now, without thinking about it, your brain is running a program. Every habit you have. The coffee you reach for in the morning. The phone you pick up before bed. The route you drive to work without even noticing. All of it is being executed by a system so deeply buried in your brain that it runs completely without your permission. And the terrifying part? That same system is responsible for your worst habits just as much as your best ones. Today, we're going inside it. In the 1990s, a man named Eugene Pauly contracted a severe case of viral encephalitis, a brain infection that devastated his hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for forming new memories. The damage was profound. Eugene could no longer remember what he'd eaten for breakfast. He couldn't remember conversations from 5 minutes ago. He couldn't retain new information at all. Ask him the same question 3 times in a row, and he'd answer it 3 times. Fresh, as if he'd never heard it before. Every moment was a first moment. He was, in every medical sense, a man without the ability to learn anything new. And yet, every single morning, Eugene would wake up, walk to the kitchen, open the correct cabinet, and take out a handful of nuts to eat. Without being told. Without remembering that he'd done it before. Without any conscious awareness that this was even a routine. His wife would sometimes watch in quiet amazement. Her husband, the man who couldn't form new memories, had somehow formed a habit. He would also take a walk around the block every day. Same route, same timing. And when researchers walked with him and deliberately got him lost, Eugene would eventually, without explanation, find his way home. When they asked him how he knew the way, he had no answer. He simply said he didn't know. He just walked. Here's what this tells us. Habits don't live in memory. They live somewhere older, deeper, and far more automatic. They live in a part of the brain called the basal ganglia, a structure so primitive and so powerful that even catastrophic brain damage couldn't touch it. Eugene couldn't remember his life, but his habits survived everything. MIT researchers studying habit formation put rats inside a T-shaped maze with a piece of chocolate at one end. Every time they ran the maze, they monitored the rat's brain activity. At the start, the brain was going crazy, sniffing, exploring, processing every smell, every sound, every texture of the walls. The brain was fully engaged, working hard, making thousands of tiny decisions per second. Then the researchers ran the same rat through the same maze hundreds of times, and something remarkable happened. The brain activity dropped, dramatically. The more familiar the maze became, the less the brain had to do. The rat stopped sniffing, stopped hesitating, stopped processing, it just ran straight to the chocolate. Fast, efficient, effortless. The brain had chunked the behavior, compressed it into a single automatic routine that required almost no conscious thought at all. This is what habits actually are. They are your brain's way of saving energy. Every time you repeat a behavior in a consistent context, your brain files it away and says, I've seen this before. I know what to do. I don't need to think. And then it hands the wheel to the basal ganglia and goes off to do something else. Efficient, elegant, and completely out of your control, unless you understand the structure. Every habit, without exception, follows the same 4-step loop. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You will start spotting it everywhere. In your own behavior, in advertising, in the way apps are designed, in the way social media is built, everywhere. Step 1, the cue. A cue is simply a piece of information that predicts a reward is coming. Your phone lights up. That's a cue. The smell of coffee in the morning. That's a cue. Sitting down on the couch after dinner. That's a cue. The cue doesn't cause the habit. It triggers the craving that causes the habit. Step 2, the craving. The craving is the emotional engine. It's the wanting, the anticipation, the pull toward the reward. And here's the crucial part that Clear emphasizes. You never actually crave the habit itself. You crave the feeling the habit delivers. You don't crave cigarettes, you crave the stress relief. You don't crave Instagram. You crave stimulation and connection. You don't crave junk food. You crave comfort and pleasure. The habit is just the vehicle. The craving is what's driving. Step 3, the response. This is the habit itself, the action you take. And whether or not you take the action depends on two things: how much friction stands between you and the behavior, and how motivated the craving makes you. Step 4, the reward. The reward does two things simultaneously. First, it satisfies the craving. Second, and this is where the loop closes, it teaches your brain to remember this path for next time. The reward is what makes the cue worth noticing in the future. It's the thing that cements the loop. No reward, no habit. It's that simple. The loop is always cue, craving, response, reward. It doesn't matter if you're talking about checking your email, biting your nails, going for a run, or reaching for a drink. Same loop, every single time. Let me make this uncomfortably real. Your phone buzzes. That's the cue. Instantly, before you've even consciously processed it, a tiny shot of dopamine fires in your brain, not because of what the notification says, just because it buzzed. Your brain has learned that a buzzing phone sometimes means something interesting, exciting, or socially rewarding is waiting. So it fires dopamine in anticipation. That anticipation is the craving. You pick up the phone. That's the response. You scroll, you read, you like something. Someone liked your post. And there it is. The tiny burst of satisfaction. The reward. Now here's what your brain just did. It logged that entire sequence and filed it under. This works. Do this again. The next time your phone buzzes, even if you're in the middle of a conversation, even if you promised yourself you wouldn't check it, even if you know nothing important is there, the loop fires. Cue, craving, response, reward. You didn't decide to be addicted to your phone. The loop built itself, one repetition at a time. Here's why understanding this loop is so powerful, and why James Clear dedicates an entire section of the book to it before he gives you a single practical tip. Most people try to break bad habits by attacking the response. They use willpower to stop the action, white knuckle it, resist, and it works. For a while. But the cue is still there. The craving is still firing. The loop is still loaded and waiting. The moment willpower fades, and it always fades, the loop completes itself automatically. The people who successfully change their habits don't fight the response. They redesign the loop, they change the cue, or they redirect the craving, or they make the response harder to execute, or they remove the reward. They work with the architecture of the brain instead of against it. And for building new habits, same principle. You need all 4 steps to be in place. A reliable cue, a genuine craving, a response that's easy to do, and a reward satisfying enough that the brain says, yes, remember this, do it again. The rest of this book is essentially a detailed manual for engineering all 4 of those steps. Everything Clear teaches from Chapter 4 onward maps directly onto one part of this loop, which means understanding the loop isn't background context, it is the foundation. So here's what Chapter 3 is really handing you. You are not weak. You are not undisciplined. You are not broken. You are running loops. Ancient, powerful, automatic loops that your brain built to keep you efficient and alive. The fact that some of those loops are working against you isn't a character flaw, it's just architecture. And architecture can be redesigned. Chapter 4 is where we get into the first law of behavior change, making habits obvious, and the specific techniques Clear gives you to start engineering your own cues deliberately, including one technique called implementation intention that research shows can double or triple your chances of actually following through on something. That's the next video. If this video made you look at your phone differently, or your morning routine, or your evenings, that's the loop making itself visible. That awareness is the first step. Subscribe so you don't miss Chapter 4, and share this with someone who keeps asking why they can't stick to their habits. Now they'll know exactly why, and what to do about it.